Polygon Matic has exploded by 300% over the last 5 weeks. But what is it? Is it a new bull trend, or is it simply a correction before a new low? Well, if we can understand the pattern position, we can see with high probability what is likely to be. So if you like today's content, detailed analysis on Polygon, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. But let's dive straight into Polygon. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look on a weekly chart at the macro viewpoint of Polygon, right? We've seen some explosive moves since January, February 2021. And I'm going to put a wave count on this. So something that I use is called Elliott waves, and it's the best way of reading the psychological mood of the buying and selling behavior. Really, really, really powerful. And by the way, some of the stuff that you're going to see me cover, you can actually now get access in the R15 Crypto Gym, where you can test it all out for £1 for 7 days. And one of the things you'll get is a 7-day bootcamp, and it covers some of the core Elliott wave fundamentals that we're going to use today. But you're also going to be able to get access to some of my charts, including my Bitcoin chart, Solana, Ethereum, Binance Coin. And next week, Tuesday, I'm going to add in the Matic. So the analysis that you see today, you're going to see in the R15 Crypto Gym. So if you want to check it out, it's in the description link below. £1, 7 days. I think you'll love it. We're getting great feedback on the gym itself. So I'm going to keep it really, really simple with the count, right? Most markets moves in 5s and 3s. We got this 1, 2. We actually traded this 3. We got this very deep 4, and ending 5th wave diagonal for a 5. So I'm just gonna pull this up like so. I'm gonna keep it as an intermediate count. I'm gonna make it blue just so you can see it a little clearer. All right. So we had this big move up, right? This is the point that we're making here. Big move up. And then we've had some type of correction on the way down. And we want to know, is this likely to be the end of the correction and we're going to now see new highs forming? Or is this simply a correction here and we're going to get a new low? That's what we're going to dive into in the next few minutes. So before we do, let's just look at the macro viewpoint on this. What does this look like to us? So again, remember, markets moves in 5s and 3s. The 3s part is a corrective sequence. It's a corrective sequence. It's very, very common in all markets, especially crypto. And what this looks like to me is a nice wave A, a wave B, and a potential wave C down here, or a wave C is still forming, right? So I'm going to pop it down here, make sure it's intermediate, so we keep it consistent. And we're also going to put in a question mark, right? Because this is what we're going to look at. Because we haven't had confirmation. Whatever we deduce today is based on probability. So what's the likely outcome? But we want to say we need confirmation, and we'll look at what that confirmation looks like as well. Just want to make sure this is going to show on the daily chart as well. I'm going to just, make sure there, bang. All right, now let's jump into, actually, before we do, one other thing that I want to keep into consideration is the momentum, right? Momentum gives us a massive clue on what's likely to occur. It's one of the most simplest, powerful things that you can leverage. So let me just quickly remind you of momentum if you're not used to using momentum. Basically, momentum measures the rate of change. And what you'll see with Polygon, you'll see these highs and the momentum highs where the blue line crosses below the red, they marry up quite nicely, right? It's not perfect, but it's around 1 week. It's within the range of 1 week. And if you can see these, it helps us see these highs forming. So this high was over here, and the following week, the momentum made its reversal. Over here, we can see that these momentums are lining up. Hopefully that's clear to you. And why I bring this to your attention, it's going to help us with our analysis. Because guess what? Let me just show you like this as well, just to make sure we're on the same page. We're talking about this high marrying up with this high, with the momentum, the rate of change. Where the blue line crosses over, tends to marry up quite nicely. You see this? All right, we can see these marry up very, very nicely. This is very powerful information. Simple as well. So where is the current weekly momentum? Well, it's overbought. It's over here, which means in the next 1 or 2 weeks, we're probably going to see the blue line cross over the red. So what should we assume? Well, we're likely to see a local top, right? A local top. And we're going to dive into that in a bit more detail if it's likely to go below this low or if it's just going to be a correction. And there's a few things that we want to take into consideration to make that conclusion. All right, so hopefully that helped you out with looking at the momentum indicator on Polygon is clearly overbought, and we want to pay special attention to that because that's going to help us to say the upside should be limited over the coming weeks. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into a daily chart, right? A daily chart. I'm going to zoom into the daily chart, and I really want to focus in on this part of the market. I want my question mark to show on the daily as well. Let me just make sure this is showing. We always want to make sure we're on the same page, that we know this low, this wave C low, has not been confirmed. So we're going to look at this part first of all. And again, by the way, in the R15 Crypto Gym, I covered the Elliott wave basic rules, the guidelines, how to do the basic wave, 5-wave counts, and you'll see these patterns unfold time and time again. £1, 7-day trial. There's loads of goodies in there, including a daily workout that we do on BNB and Solana at the moment. So there's loads of value there. So just in case you're new and this is brand new to you. So with this blue arrow, this is what we're referring to as a potential wave C. And what we want to be aware of is wave C's, more often than not, complete in a 5-wave sequence, right? It breaks down to 5 waves. So what I'm going to ask you is there a 5-wave sequence that we can see in this wave C that's pretty clear? Well, I'm going to say yes. Yes, there is. And what is it? Well, it looks like we got this initial move down, we got a correction, we got this very impulsive move down, the market moves sideways, looks like a wave 4, and then another move down to finish off. And I'm just going to change the color so we can see it a bit clearer, make it a little smaller as well. So do you see that? All right, that's valuable information. Why? Because what we want to try and deduce today is, what is the probability of Polygon? Is this likely to be a new impulsive trend? Because it looks pretty impulsive, and we should anticipate it to continue to the upside. And what should we anticipate? Or is this simply a correction and we're going to see markets moving to a new low? Right, so I'm going to break it down, and I'm deliberately doing it slowly today because there's method behind the madness and there's valuable information that's invisible to the untrained eye. So if we can learn how to read the pattern psychology, which is basically Elliott waves, we can get valuable information that no one else can see. So I'm just going to clean this up. So I'm just get rid of this now. All right, so the valuable piece of information, well, one, clearly this move to the upside is bigger than any former move in this whole sequence to the downside, right? It's bigger in both time and price. So what that will tell us is that's an overbalance of price, and that tells us that's one of the first signals of a trend reversal. We've also had a swing high exceeded. So this swing high over here is exceeded with strength. Like it didn't even struggle. It just kind of went boom, straight past it, right? So we're going to look at that as well. So how are we going to know if this is a correction or a new trend unfolding? So one of the best ways of writing out the Elliott wave pattern at this stage is what most people don't realize: wave 1s and wave A's actually look the same. Wave 2s and B's actually also look the same, and wave 3s and wave C's can also look the same. So we need to get some valuable information that's going to tell us a few bits of information. So first of all, how I'm going to label this initially. And by the way, this is how I do it for all my charts. I'll do it a lot faster if I'm not teaching. But as I'm making sure, I want to get the method across to you, because you can use this for other cryptos as well. And you'll see this time and time again, especially in cryptocurrency. Actually, we don't need a question mark yet, because that's been exceeded. And then what we're going to say over here is this looks like a 3 or a wave C. This is where we put a question mark. All right, so this is the thinking, because one of the most difficult things about trading, there's many elements. There's layered elements. There's the technical analysis to get the position. Then there's risk management. There's entry strategies, exit strategies. But then ultimately is how to think in terms of probabilities. What pattern needs to occur to tell us if it's a wave C, or what pattern needs to occur to confirm is actually a wave 3. That's what we're going to look at today. So I'm going to zoom in a bit more over here, because I want to really focus in on this part. All right. So one of the clues is if we bring up the momentum indicator, right? For the daily chart, you can see with Polygon, it marries up quite nicely with these highs, very, very nicely, and also these lows. If we look at this low, it's not perfect, but it's marrying up quite nicely with these lows. So what should we assume over the next few days when we've got a low over here? Well, we're probably going to see some type of low and a new high being made. That's a big clue. That's a big clue. Like we have to be like Sherlock Holmes and go, right, what's the probability? Well, the immediate momentum is going to be on the upside. So if this high gets exceeded, which is probably likely, that's what I'm leaning towards, then what the pattern count is likely to be is actually a 5-wave sequence. A wave 1, a wave 2, as opposed to a B, a wave 3, as opposed to a C. We're probably going to form some type of wave 4, and then a wave 5. All right, if that occurs, then we've got confirmation that we've actually got a new trend, because new trends move in a 5-wave sequence. Whereas if it ended in a 3-wave sequence as A, B, C, and then came down, that will confirm actually is a correction. But because of the immediate momentum, we should lean towards it being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the way up. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense. What would invalidate that? Well, when you join the R15 Crypto Gym, remember you get it for £1 for 7 days. On one of the lessons, I think it's on day 2. It might be on day 1 even. One of the Elliott wave rules is that wave 4 should not trade or cannot trade into the range of wave 1, right? So that means if this is a wave 1, this over here, this move to the upside, if it is a wave 1 and a wave 2, and we're anticipating a 3, 4, 5, well, wave 4 should not trade into this range. If we get an overlap, it's called an overlap. If the price does go deep and overlaps into this range, that voids this 5-wave sequence structure and will tell us, in fact, we're going to lean now towards it's actually a wave C. But right now, we're going to lean on a wave 3. Hopefully, it's making sense. I know I'm getting quite detailed here, but this is the art and the science of trading. You have to be able to trade without knowing what's going to happen next. We just stack the odds in our favor. So what are the odds in our favor right now? Well, we've got a 3-wave sequence. I'm going to measure wave, well, I'm going to call it a 1 or A, and project it forward from this wave B. And wave 3s are typically 1.618. So we're at that 1.618. So wave C's are typically maximum 1.618, but typical wave 3 is 1.618. So this green line tells us still it's a 3 or a C. This is looking like a corrective structure over here, this down here, right? This is looking some type of correction. We can drop down to a lower degree time frame to check this out, which we may do. But the other big clue is that the momentum is likely to make a bullish reversal. And going by the previous swings, we're likely to see a new high being formed. If that's the case, then we're going to lean towards a 5-wave structure, and then we have our answer. So I'm going to finish on one last thing before I just go into, I just want to quickly go to an hourly chart in the bottom right-hand corner. Let's just have a quick gander. Yeah, so this is an overlapping structure, which you could see. And this is pretty typical for a wave 4. So it's likely we're going to see the market make one more high. So what I want to finish on with Polygon is my conclusion is I'm gonna blow you away with this, because this is just phenomenal the way we see these chart patterns unfold time and time again. We've had this amazing move to the upside. We've had a very pretty clean A, B, C correction. And it looks like this is the end of the correction down here and is likely to hold. Why? Because it's likely looking like Polygon is, because of the momentum position, going to make a 5-wave sequence like so. And when you get a new 5-wave sequence, that's an indication, massive indication that we're on a new trend. But what should we anticipate? So now I'm gonna do a bit of forecasting. Some people frown upon forecasting, but look, it is what it is, right? I'm gonna tell you what I see happening more than likely. I believe we're going to see this fifth wave come up and in this kind of region, but then we're going to see a retest of this low, and that's called a wave two. And wave twos are typically, just going to measure this from here to here. Let me just make sure I get that. Wave twos are typically, let me make sure I get this. There we go. So I want to do that one more time. I want to make sure I get my right. I was clicking the wrong one. There you go. Okay, wave twos are typically 50 to 78.6%. All right, so the ratios that we want is this. And I'm just going to do a quick analysis here. Wave fives and wave ones often equal each other in both time and price. So let's just say wave five ends over here. The reason I'm doing this is we'll probably see something like this. Okay, I'm purely doing this for fun now. But more often than not, you'll see this unfold like this. By the way, I got courses in the bootcamp. When you join the R15 training gym, I have some courses down below as well, which you can upskill yourself with. Elliott Wave course, Fibonacci price course. I've also got Fibonacci time, entry exit courses. It just really just upskills yourself. That's what I'm using over here. That's why I bring it to your attention. So it's likely that Polygon, more often than not, most markets will do a three-wave correction that's bigger than any former correction. Like this. So this is what I gather we're going to probably experience. I probably think it's going to be a deep correction because the rest of the market looks like it's going to have a bit more of a pullback as well. So 78.6% is the typical. And the psychology is what we're looking at. What's typical is that the market will not know that this is the new trend, as in as a mass herd psychology, right? Especially people that are untrained. But if we do see a five-wave sequence, a 1, 2, 3, it looks like a 4. If we get this wave 5 above this high over here, that gives us a strong confirmation that this low down here should hold. Then we should anticipate a big correction. And the market will assume that this is a continuation of the bear trend. But if you understand any wave theory and the psychology of buying and selling, this is just a retest of this low. And normally you have something, it acts almost like a launch pad, as in like a rocket launch pad. And then what will typically occur afterwards, I'm getting into a bit of detailed forecasting here, but is what tends to happen time and time again. Then you'll get an impulsive wave because the next wave after the first five-wave sequence, after this first five-wave sequence, the next wave tends to be an expansion of the market called a wave 3. And the wave 3 is the most aggressive growth part of the market. And we saw that with Polygon earlier. If we just look at this, at the time, this looked very aggressive, very aggressive. It went from like 2 cents to 50 cents. But then look at this wave 3. Look how impulsive it was. It was very overextended. So this is what we would anticipate over here, an overextension. And then eventually the price to exceed over the coming months, the former all-time high. So let's just summarize the Polygon. That was probably more detailed than I was expecting to do today, but here's what it is. I think you'll find that valuable. It's got to move up. We call that a wave 1, broken down to 5-wave sequence. We've got to move down, A, B, C. That will work out to be a wave 2. And then overall, we're looking at a wave 3, a big new expansion of the market. And we've got the initial potential signal. If it does unfold to a 5-wave sequence to the upside, which is more than likely, we'll get a retest and then an explosion to the upside. So the coming weeks and months, more months with Polygon is looking really positive. So if you like today's content, today was a bit of a masterclass, to be honest. With Polygon, we did Elliott waves to, we had 2 to 3 degrees of wave count, And that's just the psychology playing out. We'll use some Fibonacci price and time to see what's likely to occur next. There's a few other factors we could do, but we don't need to do right now. But if you want to get more detailed info with the chart, on Tuesday, I'm going to get it uploaded to the Crypto Gym. So where it says crypto charts in the R15 Crypto Gym, Polygon is going to be added over here. If you want access to the bootcamp, it's phenomenal. I picked out some of my best lessons to get real fundamentals on just what to really see in the markets. But also we do daily workouts with Solana, with BNB, and we're going to potentially add some more coins as well, where we're looking at high probability setups based on what you saw today. So if you like today's content, it was a masterclass. Today was a masterclass in itself. Give me a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I normally read a quote from my book, but today I've got one in my mind that I want to just emphasize. Is this: the trend is your friend. Ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. So this initial move with Polygon, it looks like we've got one more impulsive structure. And if you are in Polygon short term, you should probably be taking profits, at least become risk-free if we do get that fifth wave. Because more than likely, because of the weekly momentum, we're going to get a pullback of 50 to 78.6. That's the most typical, most common for all markets, especially crypto, which is a retest of the wave one, beginning of the wave one. And the market will not know. It'll probably coincide with some negative news. Often it's more negative than the previous lows news, and that's just the nature of psychology. That's the way it plays out. But then at that point is where we should be preparing for taking a long position for a potential wave three, which is bigger than the 3x that we saw from 30 cents to over, I think it was over 90 cents, 99 cents thereabouts with Polygon. So there you have it. So like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Join me tomorrow in the R15 Crypto Gym. Get access to the charts, the bootcamp. We've got a load of goodies. £1, you get a 7-day trial if you love it, where most people are getting great results and learnings from this, because it's all about technique and really sharpening the axe so we can prepare ourselves for what I believe is going to be the biggest bull run that we've seen to date over the coming months. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow and hopefully in the workout.